I'm joined by Sean and Angela, who are both from the Mountain Ash area, and Sean's joining us especially because I've been involved with the COVID Bereaved Families for Justice campaign probably about a year now, and spoken with various families over the past few months. And of course, we know another meeting is due to happen this week with the First Minister. The lobbying call is that the group wants a Wales-specific inquiry into COVID and its handling during the pandemic. And Sean, this really means a lot to you because sadly you lost your husband George during this crisis. Tell us about George first of all. Let's hear a little bit about him. What was he like? He was a miner, I know that much.
Yeah, and then when the mines closed, then he was a club secretary for Bereaved Constitutional Club, and he was the club secretary down there then. So he loved doing that, and well, he was just well known then. Everybody knew him through because he grew up in the area of Bereaved, so everyone knew him. Yeah. And when he was the club secretary, well, they just all had respect for him, and he was well liked.
He was a big part of the community, wasn't he?
He was
a big part of the community from growing up and then taking on that role. Everybody knew him, everybody respected him, you know? He was lovely.
Now, the past 12 months have been hugely difficult for you as a family. You've had bereavements, and George sadly contracted COVID, not for the community, it was actually he was admitted into hospital. What happened, Sean?
Well, he was complaining of chest pain, so he said, oh, he thought we better go over the hospital. Well, the ambulance didn't turn up, and we kept phoning, they kept saying, oh, we haven't got an ambulance to send. So my son took us over to the hospital. So he was admitted, and he was down in A&E for a while, and they tested him, and he was negative, and he was down there then till the following day. And then they took him to the ward, tested him again, negative, and then they took him up to the ward. Negative all the time he was then. So
what date was that?
Well, that would have been on the 14th then, and he was negative then all the time. And then, well, there was 4 of them in the ward. One of them had been taken down to Landmark Hospital, and then this other man had been put into that bed, and he had been put in before his test results came back, and they came back and he was positive. So they woke the others up at 5:30 on the Sunday morning, which would have been the 25th, to say that this man had been tested positive, and he'd been in there nearly all day and night with them. And then they tested him then, and the results came back on the Monday. He was positive, and he'd caught it off the man opposite.